This is the world's first 2-kilometer skyscraper, a megastructure so impossibly tall, it makes the Burj Khalifa look small and stands at exactly twice the height of the Jeddah Tower. Imagine standing near the summit, looking out your window with a morning coffee, only to realize that commercial airliners are flying below your balcony. But here's the problem. Humanity hasn't even finished building a 1-kilometer skyscraper. So why is Saudi Arabia already planning one that's twice as tall? Because this could become the greatest engineering achievement in human history, or the most expensive mistake ever built. Saudi Arabia isn't just competing with the world, it's competing with itself, and it's getting ugly. A few hundred miles away sits the Jeddah Tower, built to be the world's first 1-kilometer skyscraper. In 2018, its backers got arrested in a massive political purge. Construction stopped instantly. For years, the tower sat as nothing more than a dead concrete skeleton, rotting in the desert heat. Now, in 2026, the gears are finally moving again, and the structure has currently pushed past the 105th floor. Riyadh's response? Don't wait for them to finish. Build something twice as tall, and make their own sister city look like a total footnote. But before we talk about the nightmares waiting for Riyadh, look at what their neighbors in Dubai already figured out the hard way. When the Burj Khalifa opened, it hid a dirty dystopian secret. The city's municipal sewage infrastructure simply couldn't handle the immense gravity and waste pressure of an 800-meter column of humanity. Every single day, a massive convoy of yellow sanitation trucks had to line up outside the world's most luxurious tower, manually pumping out human waste and driving it away into the desert. Dubai saw exactly where this extreme height game was heading and quietly walked away from the race. So why is Saudi Arabia sprinting straight into the exact same wall? It all begins underground. For a tower this tall, traditional construction rules don't just bend, they break. If you tried to build a 2-kilometer tower out of regular concrete and steel, it would literally crush itself under its own weight. The lower structural columns would have to be so thick to support the mass above them that they would consume 100% of the usable floor space at the base. You'd have a solid block of concrete with zero room for doors, lobbies, or elevators. To bypass this trap, engineers are forced to use ultra-high performance concrete, an aerospace-grade material 5 times stronger than standard concrete, where a single block costs as much as a luxury car. The superstructure relies on custom steel alloys developed for spacecraft, engineered to handle endless stress cycles without suffering structural fatigue. The Rise Tower is planned to have 678 floors, but the real nightmare is Riyadh's rocky desert terrain. Summer temperatures regularly hit 50 degrees Celsius, a heat so intense that concrete dries instantly, losing its strength and developing invisible, fatal microcracks. To pour the foundation, a massive concrete mat anchoring thousands of steel piles 100 meters deep into the bedrock. Engineers have to mix the concrete with liquid nitrogen just to slow down the chemical reaction. This pour cannot stop. Not for an hour, not for a minute. If the logistics fail and the pour breaks, weak seams form. The foundation settles unevenly by just a few centimeters, and all 2 kilometers of the tower above it will begin to tilt. Unlike the Leaning Tower of Pisa, that would not be a tourist attraction. It would be a $20 billion disaster. 2 kilometers up. Gravity isn't your biggest problem, wind is. At that height, wind doesn't just blow, it hits the building like a permanent hurricane. To survive, the outer profile tapers and twists to smoothly channel the wind, because if the tower were completely rigid, the shear force would snap it like a twig. It has to move. The Burj Khalifa sways 2 meters at the top. The Rise Tower will sway 4 meters. Picture this. Your entire living room slowly shifts 12 feet to the left, then 12 feet to the right, every single day. To fight this, engineers put a giant counterweight inside, a 4,000-ton steel block. the size of an entire multi-story apartment building, hanging on massive cables directly above your head, shifting silently in the dark to cancel out the sway. But wind isn't the only weapon the atmosphere has. This building will consume enough electricity to power a city of 200,000 people. A building that drains that much energy can call itself many things. Sustainable is not one of them. Then, there are the elevators. Traditional steel cables snap under their own weight beyond 600 meters. So, the design drops cables entirely and uses vertical maglev life pods, cars propelled by magnetic fields, gliding up tracks like high-speed bullet trains turned completely vertical because the air pressure at the summit is 20% lower than at sea level. Every car must be fully pressurized and sealed like a commercial aircraft. If the seal breaches during the ride to the top, the pressure change would hit your eardrums like a simultaneous punch to both ears. You aren't riding an elevator, you are flying. Now look at the nightmare scenario nobody wants to talk about. The entire system depends on one dangerous assumption: that the power never fails, the magnets never lose alignment, and human error never interferes. You aren't buying a luxury apartment. You are living in a highly volatile survival pod. The parks on the 400th floor are not nature. They are artificial biomes kept alive by UV lamps and automated misting machines. You are living inside a giant sealed machine that is simulating Earth and some part of your brain, the part that evolved under open sky for 300,000 years, will know the difference. The views will be unparalleled. You'll see the actual curvature of the Earth, looking down on airplanes coming in to land at Riyadh's airport. At night, the stars will be brighter than anywhere below. But the novelty fades when you realize this tower was never built to solve urban density. The Saudi desert is vast and empty. This building exists because of geopolitical ego, a raw declaration of power costing an estimated $20 billion. To put that into perspective, $20 billion is more than the construction budget of the entire Dubai metro train system for a single vertical column. Partial completion is projected for 2030, full completion 2060, 35 years from now. If they beat the odds and complete it, the Rise Tower will stand as a modern counterpart to the Great Pyramids, the Eiffel Tower, or the Empire State Building, a new wonder of the world, changing the world's perception of what's possible in construction. But if the politics fracture again, or the economics collapse, or one critical system fails at the wrong moment, it won't be a monument of triumph. It will become the world's most expensive 2-kilometer concrete graveyard, a silent warning carved into the sky, proving that humanity finally found its limit. Would you live on the 678th floor? Drop your answer in the comments. Thanks for watching Grand Project Files. Hit subscribe, because when this thing breaks ground, you're going to want to have been here from the start.